And as we turn the calendar to October, it also marks the start of LGBTQ History Month. It's a time to recognize the trailblazers, struggles, and the milestones that have shaped the movement for equality. We have with us Nicole Murray Ramirez in studio with more on how San Diego is reflecting on this year. Nicole Murray Ramirez, you do not need any introduction. You have been a trailblazer in the LGBTQ movement for decades now here in San Diego.
I'm a living dinosaur, yes.
Yes, and your age remains a mystery as we learn. But you have been at this at least since, what, the late 1960s, is that correct? Yes. Mm-hmm. That's right. And for people who don't know, what exactly is LGBTQ History Month, and why is it so important?
Well, I'm also a Latino, and I think it's important, and it was good when the presidents declared these historic months so that people could learn more about different cultures, different communities. And obviously our community has grown, has become more visible, and has contributed since the beginning of time. We're very proud that the Revolutionary War has been acknowledged, that Baron von Steuben was openly, can you imagine the Revolutionary War, a openly gay general. And that Benjamin Franklin and George Washington actually brought him over. He was the best military, would get the troops together and got them cohesive. Well, he did that at Valley Forge.
Way back in history now. Yeah. Now, I know this month goes back to the 90s along with National Coming Out Day, which is all part of October. And I think there's some confusion. This is Pride History Month, and also we celebrate Pride, most of the country in June, here in San Diego in July. What are the differences?
Well, it's like the Pride, obviously a celebration of our community and who we are. The History Month, and it's actually the LGBTQ History Month National.
And you are the head of our History Task Force, right?
Yes, here in San Diego.
Here in San Diego.
Yeah, GLBT Historic Task Force in San Diego. We're celebrating, and it's a vehicle to educate our allies and friends and the whole city community about who we are and our contributions, not only to San Diego, our state, and obviously our nation.
Gotcha. And this is the United States.
Yes.
Not the whole world, but the United States.
Yeah.
But here in San Diego, we are actually doing a lot this month to celebrate Pride History Month, right? What's going on this month?
Well, we're real excited that the city clerk in San Diego has had communities celebrate their, like it was just Hispanic Heritage Month. And there was a wonderful exhibit at City Hall for the Latino community. And as a Latino, I was really proud to see that. So this time, October being celebrating LGBT history, we're having an exhibit ourselves. It starts October 15th to November 5th, right at City Hall. And we will have all kinds of our historic facts.
And memorabilia, I imagine, and all sorts of
there'll be a lot. Especially, we're very proud we're a military town. I think that all San Diegans are proud, and our contributions. You know, it's very sad. Harvey Milk, who was actually stationed here in the 1950s, as you well know, the USNS Harvey Milk ship was built here at NASCO and dedicated here. And of course, this administration has erased his name from that. And it's sad because also, and now in Salt Lake, in Utah, there is a Harvey Milk Boulevard. We are the first city that had a Harvey Milk. We're very proud of it. Second was Salt Lake, then Portland, then Paris, France, and Florida. Well, now in Utah, they have introduced a bill to try to take away his name from the boulevard. And I know this won't happen in San Diego, but it's sad that I think when they removed Harvey Milk's name, it was such a disrespect and insult to all veterans.
And you were talking about how important it is not to erase history. Pride Month, History Month, it goes a long way toward remembering the history. Is that right?
And we've contributed quite a bit to this city and how it built it, obviously. And we're part of that, what I call the fabric of our city.
And there are quite a few other organizations that are supporting the task force, right? We have Lambda
definitely
Archives.
It's a partner partnership with Lambda Archives, our oldest LGBT historic organization, and also the San Diego History Center.
So they're lending their resources to help put on this exhibit?
We've all come together to make sure that the exhibit reflects the diversity of our community.
And that exhibit, that's at City Hall starting October 15th, is that right?
Yes, October 15th till November 5th.
And anyone who wants to can just stroll on into City Hall downtown? And
absolutely. And we're having all our contributions, like I said, our military. That is probably one of our proudest, is the history of the military here in San Diego, but not where we'll have a picture of the Baron of the Revolutionary War there, and his accomplishments.
I know, marking the role of the military too. I know that they didn't march in the parade this year, but hopefully next year that they will return.
Well, I think this administration's in for 4 years, so I don't think they'll be marching next year. And this is so sad. I've lived through Joe McCarthy, Danita Bryant, Jerry Falwell, and all of them. We're a very resilient community, but the hate that has gone on, and it's important to note that it's not this prejudice and this hate. It's also hate crimes are up against the Jewish community. Not since the Holocaust has the Jewish community, not only in our country and our city, but also in the world, has gone up. We just got a report from the Attorney General on hate crimes, the highest of the African American community, along with our community, and the Asian Pacific Islanders have been subject. This is not the America I know. When I grew up in the America I knew, you could put your children out in the front yard, you could leave your door open, and our churches and temples and mosques were safe. I mean, even for our community, our centers aren't safe. Look at the Pulse, our nightclubs are attacked. So it's the hate that is growing. This is, I would say, something's very wrong with America.
It makes it more important to remember our history and look back on the struggles that have.
And I think that people then realize their perception of our community and the continuing trying to make us what we're not, and to hate us and so forth. They will learn. And here's what's interesting too. The Advocate, which is a gay publication, did a poll, let's say way back, and they do it consistently, but let's say in the 70s and the 80s, like 20, 30% Americans said they knew someone was gay. Well, now it's up to 80%.
I'm sure it's more than 80, actually.
And then, so people are realizing that we're in their families, we're their neighbors, we're their co-workers, and all we want is equality, not special rights, but equal rights.
And you've been an activist since the 1960s, the late 60s. Why is it so important to you personally to celebrate Pride History Month?
To be very honest, I've been a Latino and a LGBT activist. I always say that God's blessed me to be able to witness and be part of the movement of equality and visibility of both of the Latino and of the LGBT community. I always say California, the Golden State, is turning brown, and that is with the population growth of not only the Latino community, but the Asian Pacific Islander community.
So, I mean, there are some setbacks now you were mentioning. Do you think, though, by and large, though, since the 60s, Stonewall in 1969, I mean, how much progress do you feel has been made?
While we've made a lot of progress, we almost have 1,000 elected officials. We have governors, senator, I mean,
who are out
there, and as Harvey Milk said, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. But right now, I think we're on a lot of menus, and there's a lot of frightened people. I was just at a Jewish gathering, and to hear the young people there saying how they're frightened at times to go out and even to wear their Star of David and stuff. Same thing with our LGBT community. Many of our youth are afraid and wondering. Hate crimes in even Hillcrest have gone up. Swastikas, not only in front of our gay bars, but also the hate on churches and temples, swastikas and hate. I've never seen anything like that. And like I said, I've survived some really things, but this is probably one of the worst and hateful times in America. And I don't know why that is. Why people are just lashing out. And like I said, it's not just the gay community.
What figures in LGBTQ history have inspired you the most in your fight?
Yeah, well, I had the pleasure of working with Harvey Milk, but I also had the pleasure of working with Cesar Chavez. Chavez and Harvey Milk equally. And here's the interesting part of both of them, is that Chavez was the first civil rights leader to come out and support homosexual civil rights.
As an ally.
As an ally.
As an ally, yes.
Harvey, because Harvey supported the farm workers, the Filipino and Mexican farm workers and stuff. It's that building bridges and reaching out to communities. I think it's time that we stop pointing fingers at each other and start extending our hand. And the truth of the matter is that Harvey Milk was that. He was a visionary. He believed in extending our hand. To me, a hate crime against any community should be a hate crime against all of us.
And you were mentioning Cesar Chavez as an ally, and there are a lot of allies out there, people who aren't necessarily part of the LGBTQ community. How can they be part of this Pride History Month, LGBTQ History Month?
I think by even stopping by the City Hall and learning more about, or even on the computers and stuff. I'm not too keen on all those, but there's so much Google and all this. You can learn.
It's all out there.
And you can learn so much, and people are shocked. I always bring up the Baron because people, and I know they don't believe me, then they look him up and they go, oh my God, the Revolutionary War.
We're going
Do you
way
know
back.
his work is still on army pamphlets? Well, probably now they're erasing them, but our contributions have been great in the city. And now, look, what I'm very proud of is our mayor, our 37th mayor. He's not only the first mayor elected from our community, but the first mayor of color. And like I said, when I say that California, the Golden State's turning brown, it is turning brown in San Diego. And it's also the growth of the Latino community. There's a growth of brown LGBT people. And so for me to be part of both communities, it's kind of exciting for me. But the hate and what's happened to the immigrants and the undocumented, I mean, it's unbelievable. I never thought, as we progress, and we have progressed, it's like, what's next?
And what is next? I mean, we celebrate History Month to look back, but really that's part and parcel of that is looking toward the future. I mean, you've been at this for so long now. What do you feel the future of the LGBTQ movement is?
I think that our community is waking up that what we're facing. The Human Rights Campaign, one of the biggest national organizations out of Washington, declared a couple of years ago, and I quote, that the gay community the LGBT community was in a state of emergency. I immediately responded, no, we're not. We're in a state of war. A cultural war has been declared on us. They're trying to erase the transgender community, and not only that community, and are part of our community, but the entire gay community in different ways. In Florida, they just erased from the back of the bus. What was
Rosa Parks?
Rosa Parks,
yes,
thank you.
Yes.
I'm getting pretty old. Can you imagine erasing Rosa Parks from the history books? And they're trying to, as you well know, this administration is trying to erase the history of the Black community. How can you erase the community and kind of soft pedal slavery? And not only that, the contributions of our Native Americans and stuff. Like I said, something's truly wrong. We used to be the diverse community that the statue is about welcoming everyone.
Now you said this, and I wrote this down because I don't want to get it wrong. These are your words. A community, indeed a movement that does not know where it came from and whose shoulders they stand on really does not know where it's going. What did you mean by that?
Well, because as someone of my age, I am rather young, even though I have buried 3 plastic surgeons.
Okay.
But I have noticed it's not only the Latino community. Oh, Maria Garcia did a good book, We Built San Diego, which is, I love that book because it gives you the history of the Latino community in San Diego. we're losing our history. That's why I love that the African American community fights not only for Rosa Parks, but for their history. We have to fight for our history too, because they're definitely trying to erase it. And to my outlook, and that's probably one of my famous quote is,
Yes.
how do we go forward with not learning whose shoulders we stand on? There's people that have died fighting for our community.
Well, you're doing a lot of work to make sure our history, this history, is not erased. So Nicole Murray Ramirez, thank you so much for joining us today.
But always
we appreciate
remember, it takes a village. So I'm part of well, even though there's not too many of us left that are continuing this fight.
You're one of the leaders of the village. All
Thank
right.
you very
Nicole,
much.
thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.